Back from the dead.
So hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Or if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Luna Rose, because I am the flower that blooms at night. And as you can read from the title of today's video, I figured it was only fitting, since the day I'm uploading this video is Friday the 13th within spooky season, that I transform myself into a dragified, boobalicious version of Jason Vorhees from Friday the 13th. I really hope you guys enjoy this makeup tutorial, and let's get into it, shall we? Literally nothing came out. Let's go.
Back from the dead.
So let's become Jason Vorhees, shall we? So I'm starting off with a freshly cleansed face, and I'm going to be working on my eyes first, and then I will shave and do my base. Also, I can tie my hair back into a little mini ponytail. I am on a hair growth journey, so it is nice to finally actually be able to tie it back a little bit. So I'm going to start by doing my eyebrows, and for that I'm going to use the KVD Vegan Pomade in the shade Auburn, and literally just draw like a diagonal line up from where my natural brow kind of starts, back towards my temples. Again, this is going to be a drag look, so it's quite extreme, not like how natural eyebrows would look, and I can clean them up afterwards. For the brushes today, I'm going to use the Arttitude Cosmetics brush set, which was kindly gifted to me. Thank you so much to the team at Arttitude Cosmetics. You can use the code LunaRose10 to save money on their brushes, eyeshadow palettes, eyeliners, lip oils, lashes. They literally sell all sorts, and I really enjoyed the products I've tried from them so far and stuff that I've purchased from them. But pretty much once I had my brow down, I went down with some concealer, set it with some powder, just so the eye region was like a nice blank canvas to go in with eyeshadow. To highlight under my brow bone, I took Taco from Sugar Pill, which is a matte white eyeshadow, and then for the star of the show, I'm going to take the Beauty Bay Rich eyeshadow palette, which I bought last week, and honestly I think it's such like a pretty colour story and palette overall. And I'm going to start by taking that like warmish kind of soft shade called Camel all through the crease of my eye to map out the rough shape that I kind of want to go in with. This isn't like a super, you know, like pigmented colour to start with. It is just my soft transition colour, and then I was just kind of roughly planning out kind of the colour story that I wanted to go in with. So I took a slightly deeper, more reddish, kind of maroonish burgundy, literally every single word for a subcategory of a warm toned brown, through my crease. So I start by packing on the pigment kind of in the shape that I went in with that transition shade, just so it kind of has that colour payoff, and then I buff out the top edge afterwards. I then took a slightly deeper shade of like, this was like a purpley burgundy. Honestly, I absolutely love colours like this, since it adds warmth and depth, but it has like such a unique kind of colour to it. So I literally just went ham and like buffed this all through the crease, up like back towards my temples. I applied a lot of this colour, and it kind of gave me the colour of Jason Voorhees like stripes on his mask, of like the hockey mask. So I just went very heavy with this, packed this all over and like buffed it into that warm tone brown, and it kind of made the overall eye look a lot more red. And then I took a deeper like plum shade, I think it's called Sable in the palette, which is like a really deep burgundy purple, and kind of concentrated that onto the outer edge of my eye. From here I went back in with my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer Concealer, carved out an exaggerated cut crease, since I have smaller hooded eyes, and in drag I like my eyes to appear nice and large and like doll-like. And then I set that down with that same Sugar Pill Taco matte white eyeshadow, just so it was nice and bright and like stood up and like stood out compared to like the red cut crease, and it had that nice like contrast between the deeper red and then the brighter like white stark lid. Speaking of going in with that deeper red, I did just buff over the edges a little bit just to make the cut crease look a little bit more cut creasy with that deeper like sable shade, as well as a little bit of the deep burgundy. From here I went in with the NYX That's the Point liquid eyeliner, literally my holy grail favourite liquid eyeliner, and literally just drew an exaggerated triangle across my entire eye. This looks like a very heavy, thick, like Amy Winehouse wing, but because my eyes are hooded, literally when I open them and look forward, you don't really see much of this anyway, and it doesn't look as extreme. But again, it is a drag look, so extreme is the kind of thing that we're going for here. So literally I just draw a gigantic triangle across my entire like mobile eyelid and like wing it back towards my temples. This is also why I go in with that deeper like plum shade to kind of map out the rough shape that I want to go in with. And then I'm just going to quickly shave off camera and we can start the base makeup, which is kind of what makes everything like come together. Honestly, the eyes go through that stage of this looks a mess before I do my base makeup, and then it all seems to come together in the end. So I hydrated my skin using the Embryolisse Milk Latte Lay cream, whatever it's called, you guys know what I mean. And then I went in with the e.l.f. Putty Primer, colour corrected my beard area using the Kimchi Chic Orange The Most Concealer, set that down with a little bit of powder, and then went over it again with my Kevyn Aucoin Central Skin Enhancer Concealer. Honestly, this is like such a holy grail product, and a little bit goes such a long way. I've had this pot for no joke like years and years. It is very expired and I still have so much of it left. So once I've kind of applied the fuller coverage kind of concealer around my beard area, I go in with the Maybelline Superstay Foundation in shade Nude 21 beige, nude beige, something like that, and apply that across my entire like face, forehead, everywhere, just to give my skin a nice evened out like coverage. And honestly, this foundation is so good, and it's like £8 to £10 on Amazon, so a complete bargain. For my under eyes, to brighten them up and add a little bit of coverage, I went in with the Kimchi Chic The Most Concealer. I think this is in the shade Ivory, I'm not entirely sure. I do layer over like a few other concealers since, not gonna lie, I'm kind of playing around with my makeup collection and trying to get use out of stuff that I don't really use too often, so I do play around and layer on a few other products after this. But pretty much I apply this to the areas that I want to highlight on my skin, so I apply a little bit kind of under my cheekbone, to the center of my forehead and under my eyes. Make sure that's nice and blended into the foundation, since even though I'm going for like high contrast and like lighter colors under my eyes, deeper contour, all that kind of stuff, I still like my drag makeup to look nice and blended. So under my eyes, I took a little bit of the NYX Serum Concealer and then some of the LA Colors White, or is it LA Girl? LA Girl White Concealer. It doesn't look super like stark white under my eyes, but I think I'm getting there with my drag where I want like a full-on stark white under eye and then like a full like dark brown stripe on the cheek. But yeah, for my contour, I went in with my Crayoline TV Paint Stick in the shade 7W and applied that to the perimeter of like my forehead, to the kind of backs of my cheek. Usually I go pretty heavy. Again, this is a drag look, and I feel like because it's Halloween and spooky season, I can justify like literally drawing on cheekbones, since I have a very round like hamster face, so I kind of have to fake the illusion of bone structure using makeup, which is why I love drag so much, since I can literally just draw like brown lines on my cheeks and people are like, oh yeah, chiseled out cheekbone, that's how it's meant to look. So yeah, once I was happy with kind of how that was blended out, I did go in and kind of highlight the center of my nose, and then go in with my Coty Loose Airspun powder in translucent extra coverage. I pack this a lot heavier under my eyes, since my under eyes seem to crease, and it also does seem to brighten up the areas that you apply more powder, so I like to let it sit under my eyes a little bit more to again give me a little bit more of that higher contrast. And yeah, I literally just apply that heavily all over my face. This sets the makeup nicely in place and stops it moving around, which if you are wearing this kind of makeup out for like Halloween, you want your makeup just to kind of be on, and then you don't really want to have to think about it, particularly if you're going like clubbing or like on a proper night out. Under my eyes, I did take a little bit of the Ben Nye Super White powder, since again, I'm kind of just playing around with my makeup collection and I wanted a little bit more high contrast. I went back in with that Beauty Bay Rich eyeshadow palette to fill in my brows using a warm tone brown, as well as like a little bit of a gingery colour to draw in like little highlight strokes on the very like center furrow of my brow. I'm still kind of playing around with my drag makeup and my brows, but yeah, I filled them in with a little bit of eyeshadow. And then to kind of buff off the extra powder on my face, I took a little bit of my Maybelline Superstay Powder Foundation. So this will give me like a little bit more coverage, but also like buff off the powder without disrupting anything underneath. Under my eyes, I do take a slightly lighter shade of powder foundation. This is the She Glam Powder Foundation, since again, I still want that high contrast. I want to keep the brightness under my eyes that I like created with the white eyeshadow, with the white concealer and all that kind of thing. I did just lightly buff over the edges of the eyeshadow to kind of blend it into my base and like get rid of any of the excess powder like discoloration, just so it showed truer to colour. And then for my lower lash line, I took those same shades that I use on the upper eye area. So I started with the orangey tone, deepened it with the red, deepened it with that like darker burgundy, and then a little bit of that plum shade. I did also wing it out on the outer edge of my eye. This is something that I like to do when I feel like I'm being creative and different, but really it's not all that special with makeup. I literally just drag it out from where it like meets the edge of my eye, like across my cheek, and I think it looks fun, something a little bit different. To brighten up my eyes, I went in with a white cream paint, covered back over the liquid eyeliner where it was kind of destroyed from concealer and white foundation and like powder and the works of it all. And then I did pop a little bit of shimmer on the inner corner of my eye as well as my lid, but I went like very light with it. You couldn't really tell on like camera, but it did have like a pinky goldy like duochrome iridescent sheen to it. To contour, I went in with my BH Cosmetics contour kit, and again I have a very round hamster face. I like to draw on brown lines to resemble cheekbones and bone structure, and again it's Halloween. I feel like going heavier is just kind of one of the things that you can get away with, is like, oh, it's a Halloween character, so if it looks muddy and like a brown line, that's the point, it's dramatic. And then for blush, I took the BH Cosmetics Peach Bellini blush palette, applied a heavy amount of like peachy blush to the outer like back of my cheeks, and then I did draw on a few little lower lashes using that NYX Epic Ink eyeliner, set down my face using the NYX matte setting spray, and then for my lips, I lined them with one of those pencils where you buy like 12 for like £10 off Amazon. Honestly, it was not a good lip liner. It was like bleeding and like dragging and just doing all the things that you don't want it to do, but it was stupidly cheap, so yeah, that. And then I like filled it in using the Unicorn Blood lipstick from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and then in the very center I took Red Scare from Trixie Cosmetics to kind of give me that ombre like lip. I do take a little bit of an eyeshadow brush and kind of blend those together, and then yeah, pop in some contacts, pop on some lashes, pop on some rhinestones, the wig, the outfit, and that's the look. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little Jason Voorhees dragified version makeup transformation. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. Comment down below any other looks you want to see from me. And don't forget to subscribe to the girl next door with something more. I'm hoping to try and upload daily throughout the rest of October, but make sure that bell is turned on to let you know when all the videos go live. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching it.
Back from the dead.